explore with you a question that is the inspiration for why I joined the Wikimedia Foundation as CTO 12 months ago or so. As someone with a background in search, discovery, and information seeking, it's a question that has plagued me for years, never more so than recently, given the rise of disinformation and our instant gratification culture. How can we use tech to help people think more critically, ideally with less work or less time? Put another way, how do we shrink the time it takes for each of us to get to that personal aha moment? I hope you will indulge me as I want to explore these questions by using a favorite childhood memory of mine, the comic strip Calvin and Hobbes by Bill Watterson, as well as, of course, our most well-known project here at the Wikimedia Foundation, Wikipedia. In case you aren't familiar with us, some quick fun facts about our little slice of the world. We serve up over 50 million articles across 300 plus languages. In April alone, we had 26 billion page views and 53 million edits. All those are really cool stats, but perhaps the most amazing thing about us from a tech standpoint is, as a top 10 global site, we are incredibly efficient at doing this, requiring just 2,200 servers across 5 data centers. But enough about us. Let's get back to our question on critical thinking. I want to start to explore this question by going back to our Calvin and Hobbes English Wikipedia page. Despite this being a topic that is lighthearted on the surface, the page itself covers everything from the banal to the philosophic, as one might expect of a comic named after the two philosophers, John Calvin and Thomas Hobbes. No surprise, the page on Calvin and Hobbes is incredibly robust. It's been edited nearly 3,000 times by 1,300 editors, with the latest edit happening quite recently. This is a comic that's over 25 years old, and it's still being cared for by our community of editors. Now, the Calvin and Hobbes page covers a number of deeper subjects we can explore. Ideas like grounded theory and the biography of Aristotle. Naturally, we can continue clicking through from here to explore related ideas, at least according to some editor on Wikipedia. Ideas like the serendipity pattern. And from there, we can get to the invention of Velcro, which is an example of serendipity. Velcro, of course, is a portmanteau. And for some reason, I never remember what that word means, so it's great that it's linked right there on the page. And of course, we can continue on and so forth. And you're probably saying to yourself, Grant, big deal, so what? All you did there was demonstrate how a human can use Tim Berners-Lee magical little invention we call the web. In essence, most of the critical thinking here was done by the contributors up front as they decided what links to include, what's relevant to a topic, and even how to organize it. While I wasn't completely passive in that I chose what to click based on my own curiosity, I'd have to do a lot of additional work to inject my own critical thinking into the process by asking questions like, what else should I be thinking about related to this topic of grounded theory? What are the pros and cons of a particular topic? What do other experts have to say about Aristotle? And then go do all the requisite searching, browsing, and refining that is all too familiar to all of us as users of Wikipedia and search engines like Google. But here's the thing, and I'm sure it isn't all that surprising once you dig in on it. Users have their own agenda. They have their own plans. It's almost as if they know something we as curators don't know. Users routinely create their own desire paths through our content, their own herd paths, if you will, whether we want them to or not. In fact, we see this behavior throughout our experience here. For example, one of the things we've been working on our research team here at the Foundation is mapping out our entire topic space and then overlaying it with needs of users, not just those very tactical and in the moment needs, the hey Alexas, the hey Googles, the hey Siris, those quick snackable pieces. Or alternative viewpoints. They want to build a deeper understanding and they want to do it faster. This begs the question, how can technology help? The good news is we already have many of the tools in place to enable this deeper and richer engagement with our content. We have machine learning tools like search and recommendation engines that are really good at surfacing content to users, finding the needle in the haystack, relating what others who went down this path found ahead of us. We have natural language processing models for identifying related topics, as well as topics that bring different perspectives. On the back end, we have really rich analytic capabilities for identifying user journeys and testing out these hypotheses. But still, we are missing some really critical aspects to make this happen. First off, we need to recognize that there's a time and place for funneling users. We need to recognize funneling is often broken. And even if it wasn't broken, you can never build enough funnels for all the needs of users. So instead, I think we need to step back. We need to define what critical thinking means in our context, whether we're in retail or behind a firewall in an enterprise content management system or serving encyclopedic content to the world. From there, we can begin to think about how we better incorporate the tools necessary into our content management systems that encourage users to focus when it's time to focus and explore when it's time to explore. Most importantly, we need to build in tools that encourage users to get out of their bubble and to capture feedback on our AI-supported systems, such that we don't just reinforce the status quo. Why does this ability to enable critical thinking matter? Beyond the obvious awesome societal gains of more informed decision makers and a more informed electorate, practically speaking, I think it also leads to deeper engagement and loyalty as users recognize that when they come to us, they are better able to make informed decisions, whether those are in what they buy, how they spend their time, what they learn, or who they vote for. Interestingly enough, for sites like ours, it also leads to much more robust content. As one of the things we find is our most engaged content, which often also happens to be the most controversial, routinely ranks higher in quality due to critical thinking applied to obtain the neutral point of view our community requires. I want to leave you with one last Calvin and Hobbes thought from that magical final strip, the one that captures for me the opportunity we have in front of us to get this right. It truly is a magical world. Let's go exploring. Thank you for your time. You're watching Collision from
Your
Home.
chance to ask Wikipedia's Grant Ingersoll your own questions at